Hi everybody watching. I am here to welcome you to the inaugural episode of Junk Drawer Art with Miss Riley. I am Miss Riley, as you can tell by the very official graphic that we have at the beginning. This is probably not going to be as fancy as the word inaugural makes you think, but I'm hoping that whoever's watching, whether it's my students at Oakhurst or friends or family members or parents or students, whoever needs a little pick-me-up while we're stuck at home, something fun to do, that this will be helpful for you. So what I'm trying to do with this is make sure that everybody has a fun art activity that they can do while they're stuck in their house with things that I think most of you will be able to find around your home or can borrow from a neighbor, or I have some substitutes too if you need a little help. I am going to kind of tailor this towards parents for the instruction part, so you kind of know what materials to gather if there's anything you need to prep, but kids should be able to do this too. And most of the art that I'm going to be doing is geared towards elementary students. So I'm going to try to hit it as young as 5 years old and as old as 5th grade to kind of and give you some ideas how you can adapt it to. And usually, I'm waiting on my tripod to arrive from Amazon. I will have my son helping me do this, and I'm going to show you today the work that he did already, since this is kind of our first time practicing. So today we are going to be doing, I call it building on magazines. So you're going to be cutting a piece out of a magazine and then creating a crazy drawing that will continue the small snapshot that you've cut out. I'm going to show you how that works in a minute. I am going to try to tie in a formal art lesson with everything. So today's lesson always makes me think of surrealism, and you'll see why in a minute. Surrealism, and I'm going to pick this up and move it because right now this is what I got going on. Surrealism is it's a style of art. It was very popular in the early to mid 1900s, and it involves releasing the creative potential of the unconscious mind. So what you have is a lot of very strange and bizarre pieces of artwork that involve symbols and dreams and all kinds of amazing things, and a lot of times it's dealing with distorted proportions, which is stretching or elongating an image to kind of make a point or to create something that is visually interesting. So here I have a piece by Salvador Dali. It's called The Elephants, and you can see like these almost spooky elephants here. They're like dripping. They have all of these black and white really neat effects, and then their limbs, their legs are very stretched, giving them like this creepy, almost spider-like appearance. This is one of my students' favorite works of art that we look at. Parents, I would encourage you, if your child is interested in this, that you can absolutely find more art from Salvador Dali in a lot of places, but check it out first, because this is one of my art books that I keep in my own, on the high shelf where students can't see all of it, if you get my drift. So today, for your younger kids, maybe not so much the surrealism, but for older kids, I'm going to show you an example of how you can kind of tie this style of artwork, this strange, stretched and twisted look, into the art that we're going to be doing. So what I have today that we're going to be using is, I have a magazine. My grandma gives me this one, Birds in Bloom. I have some regular white paper. I have scissors, glue, and you can use crayons, or you can use markers for your kid to draw. I mean, if you have a pencil, that's all. Colors just make it a little more interesting. So what I'm actually going to do here is I have found a magazine page, and the kind of pages you want to look for are pages that have something interesting that could be clipped off to allow your child to continue the piece of art. So here I found just this. This is actually just an ad, a magazine ad of, I think it's DJ Khaled, but what I'm going to do is I want to cut off a small portion of it. So I'm going to go in with my scissors, and I am going to cut his face and his shoulders off of it. And I really encourage you to kind of do this before, so your child doesn't see what the image originally looked like, because that's going to let them be a little more imaginative about it. So I've cut out my little piece of him, and I am going to just take it and apply some glue to it. Depending on the piece, sometimes you want to glue it at the top, sometimes you want to glue it at the bottom, and you'll see what I mean when I show you what we're going to do with this. So I'm actually going to glue him in the middle. So what I have here is a piece of work, a small image, and it allows your child to extend it. So they can draw the rest of his body. They can draw his hair or a hat or something coming out of his head, whatever they creatively want to do. A lot of times when we sit kids down and give them a piece of paper and say, okay, draw, they kind of stall out and they're not sure. This is kind of almost like a challenge. And a lot of kids want to see how weird they can make it. They would give him crazy hair or a giant hat. They might draw him riding a bicycle or doing something else kind of crazy. So this is kind of like a jumping off point for them. For your younger kids, they might draw it and then they can explain and tell you a story with it. I'm going to show you that with my son in a minute. For older kids, they could even write about it. So create a story. So here's an example. So here would be what I would give the child or give the student for them to work on, and just tell them to kind of finish the drawing. I sat down yesterday and made this one. I know it's kind of weird, but I cut these pictures of cows out of Country Magazine. And kind of in that style of that Salvador Dali we were looking at, I stretched the legs out to kind of make them look a little odd, a little spooky, kind of take that idea. I did the long tails, but I could even make it a little more crazier if I wanted to in the background. So it doesn't have to be realistic. And that's why I showed you the Surrealist piece earlier. Kids can make this as crazy as they want to. And John is in here peeking in. You want to come in and show everybody yours? I have this one here that John did. You want to come in and here. Say hi.
Hi.
Do you want to kind of tell the story about this one that you did? So I gave you the picture of the bird, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and so what did you tell me about this bird?
So, the bird has 5 legs and 4 wings and 2 beaks.
Okay, tell me more about him.
And he lives on a tree, and he eats all the bad worms that want to eat the good worms.
Where are the good worms? Show me on your picture. Where are the good worms?
These are the good worms, and this is the bad worm.
How do you know that's the bad worm?
Because it is brown, green, brown.
Oh, so you had a little pattern in.
Mm-hmm.
So this is your bird. What's your bird's name? Keep that tongue in your mouth. What's your bird's name?
5-feeted, 4-winged, flippity floppity, 2-beaked bird.
That is crazy. All right, are you gonna go keep reading now?
Mm-hmm.
All right, thank you for sharing with us, buddy.
Yeah.
So as you can see, what you and I would think would be just a normal clip from a magazine, and probably if you gave this to an adult, they would draw a normal bird underneath, developed into a 5-winged, 2-beaked, 4-armed bird-eating or worm-eating bird, eating the evil worms. So it's just a really nice jumping off point for your kids. You can make as many of these as you want to. If you don't have magazines, you can use a newspaper, anything else you can cut up, or if you get desperate, you can draw just like a cartoon, like a little bird head, and have your child continue it. But the sky's kind of the limit, so they can work in the craziest, most fantastic, amazing animals. So animal heads are a good thing to cut out, people. I cut out a girl riding a bicycle and cut off the bicycle, and John created like this crazy contraption underneath that she was riding on. So anything that you think might spark a little bit of interest for your kids. I want to thank you guys for watching. I hope this can give you some great ideas. I will be back tomorrow with another creation. I'm going to try to mix it up. So tomorrow I won't be drawing, we'll be doing something different. If you have any questions, you can leave them here on the YouTube channel. You can, if you found this on Facebook, ask me on Facebook. If you're one of my students, you can send me a message on Dojo. And I hope you guys have a great day and make some super creative art. Bye.